no, I'm not going to serve you anymore. I'm going to focus on only this one area. So I have a hard time kind of making that transition, I would say, but
come up with some crazy ideas and work with you and just see what works along the way. You got to jump in with both feet.
investing in yourself, there's no better place to invest. Just get out there and do it and keep at it. And eventually you'll build those right relationships and keep growing.
Hey there, business enthusiasts. Welcome to the Chills Podcast, brought to you by All Weather Roof. Because just like a sturdy roof, our conversations are built to last. I'm your host, Brent Loberg, and we're about to dive into the world of business, family, and the moments that give us those exhilarating chills. Ever wonder what keeps successful people inspired? Well, get ready to find out as we chat with some fantastic all-weather customers, partners, vendors, and friends. We'll explore their triumphs, challenges, and maybe even some unexpected secrets. After all, business is not just about numbers. It's about the people behind them. So grab your metaphorical popcorn and join us on this journey. Get ready to be inspired, maybe even get a few chills of your own. This is the Chills Podcast. Let the goosebumps begin. How many years we've been working together now? 10?
Yeah, it's 8.
It's been 8
years. Yeah, 2017-ish. Yeah, I guess it was like 2016, 2017, I think was like our first
Okay.
engagement. It might have been 2015.
It might have been 15 because I remember that was the first time I trained for that 50 mile and we did that roof runner video.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that was the first video we did, and
yeah,
still got some great shots of that one, man.
Yeah.
We've probably got several gigs of footage. We never even cut into anything on that one.
We're going to have to pull some of the good stuff out of the archives. By the way, this is the man behind the Yeti costume, or the Bigfoot costume, I should say. So
I still think the Yeti should be in every video that you do.
I agree.
Just for no reason. Even your Christmas end of year videos, randomly sitting in the audience.
I agree. Keep it going.
See who notices. Just be an Easter egg. We'll see who actually notices and gives us some positive feedback for the Yeti.
Where's Waldo, or where's William? So he's finally unveiled. This is the William behind the Yeti costume.
Right.
And the guy that's been running our marketing and social media for almost 10 years now. So it's been a good run.
It has been a good run.
Thanks for everything you've done for us.
No worries. And then this year we've got a lot of new things. We're trying to get business to grow and go even better than it has in the past, which you guys had your best year last year, as I understand. So
yeah, it was a good year for us. So we're hoping to keep it moving. So we appreciate the support from our customers, and all of our employees did a great job on the roofs and everywhere else. So
nice.
What's going on with your business these days?
Yeah, I mean, our business is typically slow in the wintertime, but it's been a very good winter for us so far. January's been very fruitful. We've had a lot of things going on, just trying to hold it all together and keep moving forward. Yeah.
Hopefully that's a tell on how the rest of the year will turn out, because there's some mixed reviews out there in the market about things are slowing, or some people are fast, some people are slow. And
it's true. Yeah. And it's interesting how the ebb and flow works in business overall, right? You get some businesses that slow down during certain periods and others pick up. You know, we've been very lucky, very blessed this particular kind of winter season. I'd say it was the end of last year, a little slower, but then picking up a bit into January and moving forward. We're just excited for this year. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. And same for us. I mean, we kind of go into a little bit of freak mode this time of year. I call it 0 to 0. You know, you had a great year, end of December, you're celebrating, and then Jan 1's like, boom, reality sets in, and you got to start lining up work for the new year. So 0 to 0, but here we go.
Well, hopefully everybody's going through the same processes that we are, right? They're doing their business planning and budgeting and strategy for the year. So now's the time that they want to start having those conversations about, what they're going to do in the summertime, but at least they can start landing those sales and having those conversations now.
Yeah. So do you have a defined customer, or is your customer base kind of broad? I know you're working with a commercial roofer.
It's a great question. And over the past several years as a business owner, entrepreneur myself, I've actually gone through a couple of training courses, and all of them talk about niche down, specialize in one area. And I think I mentioned this to you at one point, but actually my favorite customer I've ever had is this company called All Weather Roof. I really like working with them. The guy who works in the marketing department is kind of zany and comes up with the craziest video ideas and craziest project ideas. So,
well, I'm glad somebody likes it.
So that's, we have built kind of a sub brand, if you will, that's going to focus on commercial roofing around the US. The strategy behind it is kind of pick up one client per big city, because obviously we don't want to have two competitors working in the same space, and that just becomes weird and uncomfortable for everyone. And that's not what we're looking for. Serve one customer in an area, move on to the next big city, and try to find somebody that we can serve well. But our legacy agency, I would say we still have like 10 clients, I guess, and they're all over the place. We've got a couple in education, 3 or 4 that are in the dental world, which we picked up from the University of Minnesota, which we serve their dental department quite a bit.
Okay.
And so through that, we've kind of expanded out and made some different contacts, and they've all contacted us and kind of worked with us. We have a life coach that we work with, a business coach that we work with, a home remodeling company. So yeah, it's just quite a range, I would say, of customers that we serve. But yeah, I mean, to the future, it looks like we kind of want to start focusing on that niche. It's nerve-wracking, right? When you've been this kind of like serve everybody, and I just want to be like the guy who's the hero and helps people solve problems, to say, no, I'm not going to serve you anymore. I'm going to focus on only this one area. So I have a hard time kind of making that transition, I would say, but it seems to be the right move.
Okay. How's the commercial roofing side growing for you so far? Do you have any other customers you're working with yet?
No,
Okay.
no. It's we've targeted we had one customer, we almost landed in Phoenix. You know what I mean? It's just, so what we're finding with commercial roofing, and even what some of our coaches are telling us, is maybe we niched too much, right? Because in commercial roofing, as you've even told me, not all commercial roofers operate in the same way that all weather does.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of them are what's the word that I'm looking for?
More
Union.
Union and like bid.
Right. And
Bid heavy.
so they're not necessarily kind of like doing business in the same way. So therefore they're not as lead heavy or lead centric. By contrast, your residential roofers are all about leads. They need leads all day long, every day. So maybe we're going to expand a little bit, throw a wider net, and kind of just work with roofing in general. We do actually have one residential roofer here in Minnesota, in Rogers, actually, that we're talking to, a friend of mine, that kind of works in the business. So I've asked him for advice, but he's also come to us a couple times and said, hey, let's start a project together. And so we're just kind of waiting for something to come to life there.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see.
Well, I took an executive class through the NRCA. That's our organization. And I know some companies around the US that kind of operate like we do. So remind me, nice. I'll get you a couple leads and introduce you.
Nice.
So
yeah, maybe I need to join the NRCA as well, So through these niching things that we do and through the different courses, there's obviously a lot of other people that have chosen roofing as their niche, and most of them are residential, because that's, it seems home services in generally, from a marketing perspective and from lead gen, they need a lot of leads churned all the time. And so there's a lot of business for companies like mine in that arena. But by me kind of like shifting and focusing only kind of like the B2B side of roofing, the market's quite a bit smaller. The TAM, total addressable market, they call it. It's fancy.
Yeah.
Those fancy guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So you have a tie to Qatar too. What was that? How did that tie work again? Was that when you were
I was in the military, for 8 years. And my first 4 years I was on active duty. And then I got out of active duty and I joined the Arizona National Guard. And a couple of years into my college, they deployed my unit to Qatar. And so I actually ended up finishing my term of service for the military while I was in Qatar. And instead of coming back to Phoenix, I actually ended up staying in Qatar and becoming a contractor. And then after I became a contractor, I met a Qatari guy who wanted to start an advertising company. And I was very heavy and strong in photography and video. He was very heavy and strong in web and graphics. And so it just became this business partnership together. So that's where I started. My first company actually was in Qatar. It's a company called Creative Design. I started in 2009 in the middle of the world recession when everybody else was, suffering and going downhill. I started this company. We became number 4 marketing agency in Qatar pretty quickly, just because I had half a brain. I had no idea really what I was doing, but I had half a brain. I could problem solve. And, next thing you know, you build some relationships. And, one thing that's very unique and interesting about Qatar as a country, and really I would say probably Middle East, is the Qataris have to have 51% ownership in all companies. And that means if you meet one Qatari and do good business with him, he probably owns 37 other companies. And so you end up opening doors pretty quickly and becoming well known with a couple of people that you serve. And the next thing you know, your agency is 3-4 times the size that it was not long ago. But then, 2013, my family and I got a little tired of being out of country and kind of away from civilization, if you will. And we moved back to the US. Then I kept going back over to Qatar because I still had a lot of business there. I set up an office in Dubai at one point. So I had 3 offices going. This is early days when we first started with all weather. I was actually traveling back, overseas quite a bit during that period.
Well, I remember you had a marketing piece, and I think it was a video you showed me. Was it soccer? You were doing some marketing for a soccer team, or I just remember you made a cool video and it kind of caught my eye just because it was done.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so
That was actually, it was it was not the World Cup. It was something related to FIFA, I think.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, it was cool. So the sand and Waterman, and they
Mhm.
were like 3D generated
Yeah.
characters that were playing football across the country. Football, but that's what they call it over there. But
Football.
soccer for us.
Yep.
Yeah, they were playing that, and that was one of my favorite videos that I had a
Yeah.
chance to work on. So
And it caught mine. I'm like, if he can make it look that good with soccer, he's gonna easily be able to do it with our little industry. So,
right.
anything good going on with the family?
I've got a big family, got wife and 4 kids. So we've always got cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
My daughter, Debbie, has her first ever orchestra concert tonight.
Okay.
She's playing cello.
Oh, really?
So she's tall like her daddy. She's got long arms. So she started at violin. She said, this is too small for me, and moved up to cello pretty quickly. You remember Debbie.
Yeah, and she's about the same age as Lila, roughly 10.
Yeah, she's 10. Exactly.
Because I remember they were on some of the sets that we had done with the kids, and
Yes,
they would hang out in
indeed.
between.
We were pouring blood all over them. And
Yeah.
that was, that's our kids.
They grew up with this stuff,
Yes, they did.
and hopefully they turn out all right.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
I think they're going to be even better for it, for sure.
Awesome. Can you give any tidbits of advice for the audience on business and what's working for you?
Look both ways before you cross the street. Business is business, right? It can be tough some days and very rewarding other days. So I guess, if you're maybe like me, you're bootstrap engineer, entrepreneur, starting in from nothing and kind of investing in yourself. There's no better place to invest. Just get out there and do it and keep at it. And eventually you'll build those right relationships and
Yeah.
keep growing.
And that's a good point, because in the past I've been at this for almost, it'll be 19 years in May, and when I joined, there wasn't really a lot of marketing. We kind of word of mouth and didn't do a lot of advertising. Back then it was yellow pages,
Mm-hmm.
So since then we've kind of come up with some crazy ideas and work with you and just see what works along the way. And you gotta jump in with both feet and just keep at it.
Yeah, for
So-
sure.
So yeah, the name of the podcast is The Chills, and people probably look at the name and go, "What the heck is this?" So I guess a term that always comes up with myself, family, and friends is like something will remind you, even if it's like a smell, and all of a sudden like the hair standing up on the back of your neck or your arms. So
Mhm.
in business, like what is that what gives you goosebumps? Like what gives you the chills? Like for me, I guess a good example would be, let's say I did a roof for you and we knocked out of the park. Our crews did a great job. Communication went well. And then a year later, I get a call from some random guy that, hey, William McCloud gave me your info, said you did a great job. And I got some roofing issues. Can you come look at it for me? And that, to me, that's like a huge pat on the back and just kind of one of those things that makes the hair stand up on your neck or on your arm. So what's a chills moment for you or a goosebumps moment for you in your career?
I guess I come from a video background. If I'm being honest, right, I do a lot of
Mhm.
marketing things, put my hands on a lot of things, but videos are so cool because you get to see this idea that started in some random conversation on the back of a napkin or something like that, and then you
Mhm.
turn it into something and actually watch it.
Okay.
And if it has the right impact, and the audience loves it, customer loves it, that's just really a very fulfilling feeling that I get in my business on a regular basis. And, beyond that, I'd say any project really that we do, the beauty of marketing is a lot of it is very visual, and you can often see the eyes light up of your customer when you nail it, when you do
Yeah.
it really well. And that's just a great feeling, and
Sure.
often that leads to future business and,
Yeah.
kind of the doors opening to more things. So it's really just a great feeling when you problem solve and everybody believes in the solution and it really shows the results that everybody's looking for.
Sure. Makes sense. What popped in my mind was the Super Bowl commercial with the wearing the pants of the family. Because I remember when I called you and I said, "Hey, I got this idea." It's usually last minute. Like, hey,
Right.
William,
Yeah. You're usually like, hey, can we shoot in 3 days?
you're like, I'm in Qatar, but maybe. But you always seem to pull it off. But
Yeah.
I threw the idea out to you about the pants in the family, and it just like that was probably our most viewed video.
Oh, is
Yeah,
that right?
I think it was. I
Oh,
think
cool.
back then it was at like 30,000 within a week.
Wow. Really? I didn't know that we had such good viewership on that particular one. That's neat.
But I remember when I told you the idea and you're laughing your ass off, and I'm like, maybe this will work. And people seem to like that one. So
Yeah.
we'll have to post that one again on Super Bowl, or maybe we come up with another one.
I think my favorite one that we've done together still is the The Shining video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was just so much fun.
Oh, for sure.
Pouring blood down the hallways and having our kids in the Shining style outfits, and you taking an axe. So we actually pre-axed the door for you. So you had this big hole in the middle of the door, and you could stick your head through it, saying, "Here's Daddy."
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was a fun one. The kids had a fun day with that one too.
Yeah.
And the other funny thing is my wife Lauren was out of town and I didn't even tell her about it. So then, throughout some random scenes, I'd send her a cell phone picture or picture from the phone, and I forget where she was at the time, but she was out of town.
That's funny.
But the kids just on the floor, laying
Rolling
in
around
blood.
in blood. Yeah. fake blood for the audience, by the way. This wasn't real blood, but
Yeah. Yeah. So back to that chills. How about something within the family that kind of gives you that feeling?
Life has stress sometimes, right? And every time I get massively stressed, have too many things going on, I need a chance to relax. I mean, just something that I just manifest my kids in my mind. And it just always gives me the chills, and literally chills me out and helps me just kind of put a smile on my face. And, I do travel quite a bit for business these days. And so even just hopping on a quick call or video chat with my girls, and just saying what's up, half the time they're like, here's Dad again, but yeah, that's where I always get my chills from, in my family.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. That's always a good moment, especially when you're traveling or somewhere else and you can kind of at least chill out a little bit and talk to the family.
For sure.
This is probably about a month ago now. I'm a huge fan of Jewel. You remember Jewel back in the day, like the 90s? I still listen to her quite a bit. And I walked by Bodie's room like about a month ago, and he's on his Spotify, he's playing Jewel. I'm like,
oh, that's
cool. Like one of
Yeah.
those things where like, he's been listening in my truck.
Nice.
Struck a chord with them. Like, I mean, there's always little things that pop up like that, it could even be just a smell, something food that brings you back to your childhood, or,
I have to say that, my dad was a huge Elvis Presley fan.
Okay.
And I am, to this day, a huge Elvis Presley fan because of my dad. It's not that I have it in my mix very often, but if an Elvis song comes on, I won't turn it off. I definitely listen to it all the way through.
Really?
Yeah.
You got any favorites?
Suspicious Minds is my favorite song by Elvis.
Okay.
Overall. I've even played that in a band with my wife once or twice.
So, really?
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Tune.
That's probably up there for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I got a bonus question before we end it.
Oh, a bonus.
A bonus question. If we left right now and walked to a tattoo shop, what would you get?
Oh, man.
You had to get one. You got 10 minutes to decide.
I have to get a tattoo,
you have to get one.
and I got 10 minutes to decide. Wow, that is that's added some stress to my life right now. I'm going to need to call my girls and talk to them. I need a consultation here.
And the reason I brought it up is my wife did this to me over Christmas, and I've never been not a tattoo guy, but she's like,
did you actually get a tattoo?
We actually went and got one.
Okay, so let's start with that. What did you get?
I talked about that 50-mile race that I did.
Yeah.
There's a logo. It's a little bear with a star on it. I got that.
Nice.
So I figured it was something I worked hard for, a big accomplishment. So I got that.
Absolutely.
And that's why I went with it. It's on the back of my calf.
Huh. I mean, I've got some tattoos. I hide them well, but I've got some
Okay.
big, massive tribal tattoos on my sides and on my back. And so I'd probably just keep with the theme. I guess I'm not very inventive, but I do like, when your tattoos kind of mean something and tie back into a point in your life. I mean, that's what it's worth.
Yeah.
But me, I'm just all generic, I guess.
Sure. And if I would have had like a year to think about it, I never would have done it. So I kind of like that she did that. So it would have been hard for me to ever make a decision. I'm not a tattoo guy. So it's like, I guess if I'm going to get one, this is the only way. Let's go.
I guess I can do a Mike Tyson and get some tribal tattoos on my face and see if you let me come back in for a podcast again.
You just have to get it on this side so they can't see.
We'll have to switch microphones or whatever if it's on this side. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's it for today. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, Brent. This is awesome.
Yeah, and thanks for all the help you've given us over the years. So we really appreciate it. You guys have been a good partner with us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks. And that's a wrap, folks. A huge thank you to our incredible guests and, of course, All Weather Roof for making this podcast possible. If you enjoyed these conversations as much as we did, don't forget to hit subscribe and share the chills with your fellow business aficionados. Remember, it's not just about business, it's personal, and it's all about the people. Stay inspired, chase those dreams, and let the chills guide you. Till next time, this is Brent, signing off from the Chills Podcast. Catch you on the flip side.